And now that she's in the WNBA, man, I tell you, she needs a Jeep endorsement, a commercial, because Jeep is an acronym that I've come up with of the way she has been treated and not welcomed into the WNBA. Jeep, the acronym is JEEP, and that stands for jealousy, envy, egos, and pettiness.
Now, Dan, the host of Outkick, had a few words of his own for Monica McNutt first.
The WNBA is currently locked in a fierce battle over its own identity, and at the center of this storm are Caitlin Clark, Monica McNutt, and Mychal Thompson, the former NBA champion and father of Klay Thompson. When Monica McNutt sat down for an interview on BBC News, she dropped a take that sent shockwaves through the sports world, attributing the meteoric rise of Caitlin Clark largely to her demographic profile. Monica McNutt stated that Caitlin Clark represented a white girl from the middle of America, implying that this identity was a primary driver of her massive appeal. This reductionist take completely ignored the electrifying, high-scoring reality of Caitlin Clark's game, and it didn't take long for Mychal Thompson to catch wind of it. Mychal Thompson didn't just disagree. He went on the offensive, labeling the treatment of Caitlin Clark within the league with a scathing acronym: Jeep, jealousy, envy, egos, and pettiness. This clash isn't just about a single soundbite. It's a proxy war for the soul of women's basketball. Is the league's explosive growth being driven by the raw, transcendent talent of Caitlin Clark, or are cultural narratives playing a bigger role than the actual basketball being played on the hardwood? The fallout from Monica McNutt's comments was immediate and brutal. By boiling down the phenomenon of Caitlin Clark to race and geography, Monica McNutt inadvertently sparked a massive backlash from fans and analysts who felt she was actively erasing the historic achievements of the Indiana Fever star. Mychal Thompson stepped into the fray to dissect the logic, or lack thereof, behind Monica McNutt's argument.
And she wins, and she shoots from deep. It's no different than Steph Curry. How many times we got to say, but the people that cover the WNBA, the African-American lesbian, cannot handle the fact that a white girl, look, if it were a white girl from the East Coast, there's more people on the East Coast than there are in the Midwest. I mean, what's the problem? These folks can't understand that. The women of the WNBA can't understand that. They know it. They can't admit it. Media members, particularly African-American lesbians, can't understand it.
Mychal Thompson hit the nail on the head by pointing out a glaring double standard. If the roles were reversed, and someone tried to claim that iconic black athletes like LeBron James, Tiger Woods, or Serena Williams were only famous because of their race, the backlash would be absolute. Mychal Thompson argued that it is fundamentally unfair to diminish the hard work, the logo range shooting, and the elite passing ability of Caitlin Clark by placing an asterisk next to her name based on her identity. The strategic consequence here is clear. When prominent voices like Monica McNutt push this narrative, it alienates a massive segment of the fan base that is tuning in strictly for the high-level basketball product. It shifts the focus from the court to the culture war, creating a toxic environment where Caitlin Clark cannot simply be celebrated as a generational talent without it being framed as a political statement. To truly understand why Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon, one has to look at the historical context of the league. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the WNBA had seen plenty of legendary white players, from Sue Bird to Diana Taurasi. Yet, none of them generated this specific level of mainstream frenzy. Mychal Thompson recognized this early on when watching Caitlin Clark at Iowa. He didn't see a demographic trend. He saw a style of play that mirrored Steph Curry.
They weren't that captivating. You've seen the game already. You've seen these type of players play. They all play the same. That's the difference. It's something that captivates you with Caitlin Clark. I like the way those players play and like their game because I like basketball, right? But to explode your league and to make it something that you've never seen before, you have to get the people that don't know basketball to watch your sport, to watch you play. And that's what Caitlin Clark did.
This is the core analytical breakdown that Monica McNutt missed. Caitlin Clark didn't just bring more of the same. She completely altered the geometry of the game. She brought a flair, a flash, and a deep-range arsenal that forced casual observers who had never watched a WNBA game before to stop and take notice. Mychal Thompson noted that even people in his own traveling party who were historically indifferent or even anti-women's basketball found themselves completely captivated by the way Caitlin Clark commands the floor. It isn't about race. It is about the spectacle. It is about the logo threes and the impossible passes that defy conventional defensive schemes. When Monica McNutt tries to attribute this magnetism to a social construct, she ignores the basic reality that sports fans are drawn to excellence, dominance, and style. Caitlin Clark isn't just winning games. She's putting on a show that is fundamentally different from anything the WNBA has ever seen, and that is why the arenas are sold out. The long-term impact of this discourse on the WNBA franchise could be devastating. When the media narrative surrounding the league's biggest star becomes defined by bitterness and racial essentialism, it damages the overall brand. Mychal Thompson explicitly called out this dynamic, noting that the inability of some media members and players to handle the success of Caitlin Clark is a symptom of a deeper rot.
It's just her race, all right? It's not her race. Now, granted, I have seen black people become fans of a player because they're black. It happens on both sides. White people do become a fan of some players because they're white. But it's not the main reason why Caitlin Clark is popular. And that's what needs to stop. I can only imagine somebody trying to discredit
This jealousy, envy, ego, and pettiness that Mychal Thompson describes acts as a ceiling on the league's growth. Instead of capitalizing on the momentum generated by Caitlin Clark to elevate the entire sport, the focus remains trapped in a cycle of resentment. The financial stakes are incredibly high. The WNBA has a golden opportunity to cement itself as a premier global sports property, but that requires a level of professionalism and maturity from its analysts and stakeholders. If the primary takeaway from a Caitlin Clark masterclass is a debate over her white privilege rather than her basketball brilliance, the casual viewers will stop tuning in. Mychal Thompson is challenging the status quo, demanding that the league and its media partners drop the agenda and simply appreciate the greatness unfolding in front of them. The climax of this story isn't happening on the scoreboard. It's happening in the media landscape, where the old guard is struggling to adapt to a new reality where the biggest star in basketball happens to be a woman who can shoot from the parking lot. Ultimately, the attempt by Monica McNutt to explain away the popularity of Caitlin Clark falls flat because it ignores the most basic tenet of sports, the eye test. Mychal Thompson correctly identified that while race exists as a factor in society, it is not the engine driving the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Her talent, her style, and her impact on the game are undeniable, and trying to diminish that reality only serves to highlight the insecurities of those making the arguments. The WNBA is at a crossroads, and it needs to decide whether it wants to be a league defined by its bitter internal politics or one that embraces the massive influx of new fans brought in by a generational icon. Where do you stand on this clash? Do you agree with Mychal Thompson that the league is holding itself back with its own pettiness? Or do you think Monica McNutt brought a necessary perspective to the table? Let us know in the comments below.